Oh, so it's like a thing? So it's like we start? No
Well,
way. All right. Well, okay. Carlina, Miss Karlina Sample, Texas native, starter and captain in the A&M soccer team, Farmers Fight Perseverance Award winner in 2019. I'm throwing it back a little bit. SEC co-defender of the year in 2020. All SEC first team in the same year. So in other words, you're like that, right? Founder and current president of the Blueprint, certified queen, and my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, Jordan. That was quite an
Doing? I
intro.
had to give you
Hype me
one.
up.
Who would I be if I didn't?
Go ahead.
But you're good. Doing well.
Yes, doing very well.
Okay. Okay. So, first things first, we just gonna talk about your experience at A&M. So a lot of the story surrounding you, because when these interviews, gotta come prepared. A lot of the story surrounding you is your development as a person, just as a leader undeniably, and someone that I even look to and I'm inspired by. So, what were you like coming into A&M?
Um, when I first got to A&M, I was more very, very quiet, more reserved, more like kind of playing it safe
Mm,
in terms of being in a new environment.
yeah.
Like first year in college, I came in early in the spring
Oh,
semester, still injured, still trying to like make a name for myself, improve myself. Yeah, you know how all that goes.
right.
And, I think like thinking back on the questions you sent me earlier and just trying
Mm,
to like figure out my answers, what I was going to say, I was kind of reflecting on that, like just my time here. I
yeah.
think I really have developed um, as a person, like you said, as a leader, like kind of filled those shoes that I've always have been a little bit big on me,
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind of grown into
No,
them
for
and
sure.
grown into like the person I want to be and the woman that I'm striving to be and, just slowly achieving those goals that I set for myself and in terms of sports, in terms of school and off the
Yeah.
field and whatnot. So just continuing to progress. I got one more year left.
Yes.
Fifth year, gonna do grad school.
Hmm.
So just kind of staying on path and just making sure I'm hitting those new goals and continuing to like reach those new ceilings that I set for myself.
Being a well-rounded woman. That's
I'm
what that's
trying. I'm
that's what I'm
trying.
hearing. So you said coming into college you were injured. So that was your
Right.
first ACL injury.
Right.
Okay. So the second one came when?
Second one came a year after. So my first, I came in hurt. Did my rehab in the spring.
Okay.
In the summer, stayed up here. Came back from that.
Okay.
Played. Played in. Played in the starting tournaments in the
Okay.
end toward the end of our fall. And then I think my sophomore year is when I tore my left one,
Tore your other
my other one. Yeah.
one. Oh
So
man. Okay. Sorry.
yeah,
But
yeah,
so overcoming that, right? Freshman year is hard.
yeah. Very.
Freshman year is hard if you're playing, if you're the star, if you're on the bench, if you're somewhere in the middle. It's just an adjustment period.
Right.
So dealing with injury, being in a new environment, then dealing with another injury shortly after, was that the hardest thing you've ever had to overcome?
Yeah, and I think I give a lot of credit to it in my my mental strength, the strength that I have right now, just mentally, because ACLs are such a long recovery. It's 9 to 12 months. That's average
Child.
recovery, and so it's like going through it once. It's like, yeah, I can do it. I've seen everybody else do it.
Yeah.
They're like two. They're very common now, especially in soccer. Um, and so, and a lot of my whole family, except for my dad, has torn their ACL.
Really?
Yeah, so it's like genetic at this point, I think,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
But just having like that experience with my sister and my brothers tearing all theirs before me,
Wow.
and so I was like, all right, like you can do this. The first time, the second time coming around, it was just like,
I can't even
dang,
imagine.
like
Not again.
kind of like thinking about like, can I do this again?
Right.
Because it's so taxing, and it's like it requires an amount of consistency that
Yeah.
I just wasn't I hadn't had to tap into yet. And so but it was hard. It was very hard,
Yeah.
but it shaped me into who I am. I learned a lot through those injuries and recovering from them, and I think that is why came back so strong. It's just being able to flip it from why is this happening to me and this is going to be so hard and like I hate this to okay, like I got to bounce back and what can I take from this? Like
There
what
it
can I
is.
learn from this
Mm-hmm.
from this this setback because it's
Right.
not all over yet. Like I've seen people do it twice. I've seen people do it on their left, come back on the right. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So, and I had previous experience from my first one, so it's just like kind of I gave myself. I think I gave myself like a week. I'm like, you got a week to be sad about this because then you got to lock in and really get to
Get
grinding and come
after it.
back, right? Because it's not a joke. You know, you got to take it very
For
seriously.
sure.
So just, yeah, yeah, it was hard, but I made it. I
You
made
made it. You're
it.
here. You are
I'm
in the
here.
flesh.
I'm here. Just got to take it.
So that's a defining moment for you, or just a defining period. And I can definitely attest to that. Just not necessarily from the injury standpoint, but transferring and just feeling like, I don't know. What
Hmm.
if the grass isn't greener, right?
Right.
Like what if I have a sophomore year that's exactly like my freshman year? What if it's worse?
Right.
What if it's worse? I can't do that. I can't put myself through that again. But again, we're here,
We're here.
in the place that we need to be, right?
Right.
In Aggie land. So, I mean, obviously, being a defining moment, there are lessons that you take. And if you had to pinpoint one lesson that you took from that period in time, what would it be?
One lesson that period. I think that's really when I taught myself, um, like you're more than a sport. Your sport. Like there is more in you than just soccer, and I
Yeah,
think I really do think that is the reasoning behind those two injuries and why they happened for me
really.
to be able to tap into my qualities, my passions, and like that leadership side of me because I've always been athletic growing up and whatnot. Like always been in different sports, you know,
Mm-hmm.
always been surrounded by sports and never kind of had the opportunity to take initiative in my leadership and whatnot into my own hands.
Mm.
And so I think I learned a lot about myself during that time. And I learned a lot about what I kind of tapped into what everything else that I was capable of. And I thank Sherry for that. I thank Nisha a lot for that.
Love me
I
some
miss
Nisha.
her
Oh
so
my goodness, she needs to
much.
come back, Jeff.
She does need to come back.
Visit or
I
something.
know. I miss her so much. I don't think she realizes how much of an impact she had on me during
Yeah.
that time. Um, but yeah, I would just say that, or and especially just being able to stay present in the moment and taking things day by day, not
One day at a
trying.
time.
Yes,
That's
one day at a
huge.
time.
Oh my
It's
gosh, everything.
right. I
That's
didn't
everything.
realize how important it was until that time. Like just like you said, not knowing, like fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen in the future. And
Right.
I'm someone who likes to prepare for things. You know,
Same.
plan for things, have my stuff organized, have a plan and a backup and a backup
For
backup. You know
sure.
what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying?
No, I
Like
feel that.
just you feel comfortable when you have all that preparation and just not knowing like an injuries when injuries are going to happen. And I was like, I can't just rely on my athletic abilities anymore
That was
going through
tricky.
two injuries. They're so unpredictable. So, you know, I learned a lot from that time. I think
Right.
those two things are
Those are the
things that
biggest,
have
the heavy
really
hitters.
right hit me hard.
No, so just what happens when the ball stops bouncing, right? When you
Right.
can't run as fast, when you can't do anything related to the thing that you've been doing for however long, right?
Right.
So child, I know. I definitely
I
feel it.
know.
So that is the perfect segue though. You talked about finding out who Carlina is, like who you truly are at your core. And that's a perfect segue into Blueprint, right? So you started a much needed and successful organization here, student athlete led. Blueprint, blue as in black leaders who undertake excellence, yes.
Right.
Um, aimed at pretty much improving the experience of black student athletes here. So, I mean, you did all of that with a course load, being handling the demands of being a student athlete. Is it everything? Just with that time constraint, is it everything that you wanted it to be?
Yes, it
It
is.
is.
It's everything I wanted it to be. Everything we had planned for it to turn into, like, and more. And we still have more goals and things that we want to do and plans for the
Mm-hmm.
future. And it was actually during my injury is when I was able to work on Blueprint and
Really.
start developing it, talking with Nisha's when we set a whole agenda, timeline for the goals we wanted to hit,
Mm-hmm.
deadlines we needed to meet, people we needed to talk to in order to get what we wanted going on the right track. um, and so yeah, Blueprint has I love Blueprint.
It's your baby.
It's my baby.
It's your
I love
baby.
it. I love it. And I love what it's developing into. I love the people it's introduced me to, the connections that it's brought me to. I've
Mm-hmm.
learned so much just through serving through it and, just through starting it. And it's brought a lot. I think it's done a lot more for me than I had expected it to do. I
Yeah.
think, like, in the beginning stages, I was like, I want to do this for myself, but also for other people, to not um, have to go through like trying to find black friends outside of their sport. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like trying to interact with other people outside of their sport. That was something that I struggled with when I got here freshman year. Um, like looking for that black community within athletics because we're up here all the time and
Right.
just trying to branch out. But I didn't like in trying to do something for other people. I don't think I realized how much it was also going to do for
For
me,
you.
right? And I'm glad. I'm thankful for it. I'm thankful for everyone that helped. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And yeah, it's just gonna continue to grow. And yeah, I'm proud of Blueprint.
I'm proud of Blueprint. We love to see black excellence.
Black
We love
excellence on
black excellence.
display.
But no, I definitely it's amazing what can happen when you're trying to help other people, right? Like when you're trying to just solve a problem. Your problem was you wanted a community and you assumed that other people wanted that as well, and it was the
Right.
correct assumption, right? I definitely feel that just with some things that I've done personally, like I felt with this series, like we live in a world with billions of people. How is it that we can feel so alone,
Right.
right? Like, how does that work? You
Right.
are surrounded by people. You can be in a room full of people and you feel like you're the only one in the world. So,
Mhm.
but storytelling for me through a variety of mediums is kind of the problem that I want to solve.
Mhm.
But no, that's amazing. So, Blueprint was actually supposed to just be for black female student athletes,
Yeah.
and some of the things that were written about it, it kind of alluded to George Floyd's death, kind of inspiring you to open up the platform. So can you like walk me through that
Yeah.
process?
Yeah. So I'm very passionate about beauty and being black.
Yeah.
Um, Preaching it, especially to youth now, youth women, especially like all the stigmas and stereotypes against black women and I just feel like it's part as a black woman it's my responsibility to make sure that young black women know the beauty in themselves and the
For
beauty
sure.
in their skin and their hair, their culture, you know what I'm saying, like um and so that was kind of the goal I wanted to bring from Blueprint in the beginning stages. And we got the inspiration from attending the Black Student Athlete Summit in
Yes.
Austin
Mm-hmm.
in January.
Okay.
And there was an organization from Ohio
Mm-hmm.
called Sheroes. And it was funny. They did their presentation. They talked about what they were. And after the presentation, Nisha and I were sitting next to each other. And we looked at each other and we were like, we need this at
Yeah.
A&M. Like, we got to bring this back.
Now.
And, right. We was taking notes, you know what I'm saying? And we brought it back. We had gotten everything started, talking about women, trying to find a name for the organization to make sure to put emphasis that it was focused on black women. Um, right. Then all the political unrest happened over the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's when we kind of took a step back, and Nisha was like, maybe we need to open this up
Right.
for just black student athletes, period. Because black women face stereotypes, black men face many stereotypes as well.
Right.
And it's like the mission that we wanted to deliver can also be delivered to men and information that they can receive and need to receive as well.
For sure.
So that's when we were like, all right, scratch that. It's not for. It's not going to be just for black women.
Let's open
We're
it
gonna
up.
have right. We're gonna have opportunities for people to learn, for black individuals to learn about themselves, man or women, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, we're all black and we're all facing the same challenges as a black community, as black
For
people
sure.
as a whole. So just trying to elevate everyone together, you know what I'm saying? All take everybody with you,
Mm-hmm.
and just tap into all of that. And so, yeah, that's when we started developing it as just an organization for black student athletes, period. Facing, whether it's, we had to change some of the topics we had planned at first, which was okay. And they worked out very well. And yeah, I'm glad that we did do that for everybody, and kind of took it, instead of narrowing it down,
Right.
kind of giving it more of an expansion into black males and females on campus.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's been very successful, and so I'm
I
proud. I'm glad we
agree.
did it. I'm
I
glad we did
agree.
it.
Blueprint is amazing. Like I don't think I've ever told you this, but like just watching it grow, because Nisha and I talked about it and just what you wanted to do, and I'm like, genius. Like, yes, that is what we need. You're giving the people what they need, but just opening it up. I think that just made it like all the better,
I think
all
so
the
too.
better.
Yeah.
So you talked about that learning component, right? Blueprint is not only building community, but it's educating. It's there to provide insight into the history of the black community. But right now, I just want to touch on the current state of just certain things that we as a black community are kind of witnessing in government and just that kind of thing. So we talk about Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Uh, the case of Ahmaud Arbery's killers, and how the overwhelming majority of the jury was white.
Hmm.
We're talking about the uh, impending execution of an innocent man. So when you have these conversations with members of Blueprint, and I don't know, has any of that been in conversation recently? Just like what it what we're seeing, what we're witnessing. It's almost history repeating itself kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's eerily reminiscent of things we've seen, Jim Crow, right?
Hmm.
Like all that. So just how do you personally feel about it, and has that been something that you've spoken to members of Blueprint about?
Yeah. Personally, it's like you said, it's hard to watch.
It
Like
is.
you feel like you feel like you're making so much progress, and
Yeah.
then you see stuff like that in the media, and you're just like, how are we still, like, how is this still something that we are talking about, like an issue that we are talking about? And I was actually like watching some of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial on
Yeah.
TV yesterday, just kind of having it in the background, and then
Yeah.
I started actually watching it, and I was like, it really made me, I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but just watching it, it kind of made me very uncomfortable, actually,
Uncomfortable.
just like watching just the whole. I had never really watched a trial on TV,
Mm.
kind of go through all of it, how it did, but I was just like shocked that just with the situation,
Like, what are we witnessing here? What is
what is
going on?
happening?
It's
What
giving
is
regressive.
it's Yes,
It's
and it
giving
was just,
regressive.
I was just like very shocked, and I was talking about it with Chase one
Yeah.
last night. I was just like, I was watching some of it, and I had to eventually like just turn it off, because it was just, I could feel it impacting me, like bringing me down. And so just being able to talk about it, we haven't really talked about it as a Blueprint
Mm.
organization quite yet,
Okay.
just because November was our last event, and we're going to pick back up in February.
Okay.
But it is something that I think we want to come back on at the end of the year. We usually have our monthly event will be
Mm.
like a open discussion, just to reflect on
Okay.
the year, talk about any challenges you face, what you've learned, how you've grown, just for people to kind of open up and just talk about what's on their heart, what's on their mind. And I definitely think that is something that we will come back to and talk
For
about,
sure.
so people can give their opinions. Just because I like to hear how
Different perspectives.
different. I love hearing different perspectives.
Same.
It allows me to learn more and look at things from other people's point of
For
views,
sure.
especially like in this current situation, and for whatever is to come in the future. You know what I'm saying? So it's, yeah,
It's
it
intense.
hurts.
It's
It
intense.
hurts
It's disturbing.
very.
That's
I think that is a very good way
disturbing. I
to
look
describe
at
it.
these things, I read articles, and I'm like, no way. No, like, no way. The land of the free, the
Right.
greatest country in the world, and we're in 2021, and what? But taking steps backwards, like what? And
backwards.
not acknowledging it as so.
And it's like it really reminded me kind of, I kind of felt not ashamed, but just like, wow, all that progress we thought we made in the summer, over quarantine, all the protests we did,
For
all the
sure.
marches we did, all the open forums that we did, like, kind of like, why did we stop those?
Right.
Like, it's not like, this stuff is not seasonal, obviously. Look
Not
at
at all.
this is the same situation that is happening in the summer, and that we've seen it happen in the past multiple times. And it's just like, it kind of felt like, just because all the it was hot in the summer, and now it's not hot anymore. And
Yeah.
it's, I don't know, but yeah, we'll yeah, I think something will come up
Yeah.
again for us, just to provide an atmosphere for people to talk about
For
that.
sure.
And because it is mentally
It's a lot. It's
disturbing.
draining.
It is a lot.
It's
It's
definitely
exhausting.
draining.
Right.
Yeah. So we've talked about freshman Carlina. We've talked about going through your collegiate experience. Obviously, it's not over. One more year left. And then obviously this year.
Mhm.
We talked about you developing as a leader, as a woman, what you stand for. So, what's the dream? What is Karlina Sample's dream? What do you want to do? Marrying all the things that you've learned and just adopted, internalized. Like, what's the wildest dream?
Wildest dream. I do want to do. Eventually, I want to go into like sports broadcasting,
Okay.
or market, or brand marketing. Excuse me.
Okay.
Um, just in that media side. I like to talk.
Me and you both. Me and you both. I will talk somebody's
I
ear
like
off.
to talk.
Yes.
And just like, striving for those goals. Outside of that, I have always wanted to like start some kind of organization, communitive organization, or um, volunteer, something to give back to the community. Like I said, give back to the youth. I think I will continue to take something like Blueprint past college and into something kind of maybe more bigger.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Please do.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Approval. Approval from Jordan.
Yes.
Good. But yeah, I think those are some gist. Haven't really worked out all the details of it all, but in its own time, it'll come.
Right.
And yeah, those are some of my some dreams of mine.
Those are some
And
dreams.
yeah.
We love that. So I'm the same way, actually. Media, I touched on it
Mhm.
before, just like that storytelling piece. I think my wildest dream is to have a own and operate a production company, but that just functions in all these different ways. So just with the community outreach piece, I think visuals are so important, right?
Mhm.
Like that's why we're even doing this now, right? It's yes, it's going to be a podcast, but that video piece, seeing people who look like you in
Right.
positions is,
Right.
I don't know,
It's
it's something
impactful.
unexplainable. Yeah,
It
it is.
is.
It's truly impactful. So, just with who you are, you mentioned to me that your mom is your hero.
Mhm.
How has she impacted your development? Just your overall development.
Oh, my mom. I love her. She's just such a great woman.
Hmm.
She's impacted me, um, just because she's been that example of that strong black woman that I strive to be.
Yes.
Just being able to see her deal with different situations, how she handles different people and
Yeah.
personalities, situations she's in, challenges she's faced. She handles them all with grace, and that's something that
Love that.
I'm continuing to learn from her.
Yes.
And she's just been so supportive, always good to her when I need advice. When something doesn't sit right with me, I'm trying to ask her if I'm tripping or not. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get some background knowledge on things that I
Yes.
don't really know about, that I'm
Hmm.
trying to
Navigate.
learn,
Yeah.
right, trying to navigate. Especially in this stage of college, you learn, like, you're still developing. And she has played a large role in my development. Just I think it's mainly just her support.
Yeah.
Just when I come to her, the new idea, new project, it's like she's always, how can I help? Love it. I think you'll be
Love
great.
it.
How can I help? How can I help, Carlina? What do you need from me? Like, let
Yeah.
me know if you need this. And she's just done so much for me from high school to now, and from what I talk about, what I want to do in the future. Just she always is down to find a way to get me there, and I really appreciate it. Mom, if you're watching this, I love you.
Shout out to
Shout out
mom.
Renee.
Shout out to mom.
Shout out
But
moms.
I everything you said just resonated with me. I don't know where I'd be like in this collegiate experience,
Right.
if I'd be in this collegiate experience, if not for my mother as well, and
Right.
that quality of just finding a way but attacking adversity with such grace and eloquence. Like,
Right.
I don't know, man. I want to be like them when I
I
grow up, you know?
know.
Like, it's something, I don't know, maybe it's just part of being a black woman. Just
It's gotta be.
maybe
Sometimes I just want to be, ooh, like
my
react,
genes need to
react,
kick in.
react.
They need to go, because the examples that have been set by countless black women, our
Mhm.
moms included, is just, I love it. We love
Mhm.
it. So just one more kind of switch of gears. So what do you want people to know about you, right? Like, as athletes, we have media, but people kind of focus on, oh, well, how you've performed on a given day, or how you've prepared, or how the team is doing, and things of that nature. But I want to know about you as a person. What do you, if you had to choose a couple of things, what do you want people to know about you?
Hmm. I want people to know that when I say something, when I say I'm gonna do something,
Mm.
I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Right.
When I say I'm gonna get something done, I'm gonna get it done.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like
Okay.
I think I'm a very goal oriented person.
Same.
And that's another thing I've learned since being in college. It's
Mm.
just like I strive to achieve, and like I strive for success, and like I don't care what somebody else has done. That has nothing to do with me. That has
Right.
nothing to do with me. You know, we all have our own paths.
For sure.
It's all coming in our own time.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think I'm very determined in
We love it.
what I want to be focused on, what I want to get done. Um, I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know where it started, but I'm not complaining.
Right. Right.
I would say I'm very determined and um, very structured in who I am
Right.
and what I believe. Like, not in that it's my way or the highway, but
No.
it's just like I'm very, very grounded in my core beliefs, my morals,
Right.
my values. Um, they make up who I am, and so I'm not gonna try and change that
And compromise those.
to fit
Right.
a frame or fit a cookie cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm my own person, and I'm gonna be my own person.
As you
So
should.
as
As
I
you
should.
should. Who better than you,
Who else
right?
I
Like,
wanna be?
exactly. Exactly. So I guess that's a perfect segue into, like, how is your relationship with you? Because I think as you grow, you're constantly changing and
Mhm.
manipulating. But you don't, I mean, it's a subconscious process
Right.
sometimes. And you look up one day and, like, who's that? Right? Like, and you may not at times like the person that you see in the mirror, but
Mhm.
it's up to you, because no one else is going to do it, to develop that relationship with self. Like, you spend all this time, you would like to like the person
Mhm.
that you are. So how's your relationship with Carlina?
My relationship with Carlina has came a long
Yes.
way,
Okay.
and I think that is why I'm so passionate about um, like impacting or preaching the beauty of blackness
Mm.
to young women and young black women, because like old Carlina, young Carlina was not really tapped into her culture.
Right.
I'm from Frisco, a
Okay.
very white, predominantly white city atmosphere. My school's predominantly white.
Really.
Um, and so growing up as a black girl in a white school, all the
Hmm.
questions that come with your hair,
Who I remember them
why you know what I'm
questions? I
talking? Why
remember
your
them
hair
questions.
short today and
Like,
it was long? Yes, you
right.
got a
Is that
haircut.
real?
Why
Is that
can't you go
yours?
swimming? You know what I'm saying? Like all those questions. That
Yes.
it's just that's just natural to you. That's just life, and you having people like your teammates in high school and high school friends and teammates asking you questions, asking why they can't. Why'd you overact when I touch your hair? What do you mean
Right.
overreact? You know what I'm saying? Looking back
Yeah.
on that, it's just like I don't want young women to feel like that
Yeah.
in those developing stages of life, middle school and high school. Just knowing how it made me feel, questioning myself, questioning how I looked,
Right.
how I can do my hair to easier to look like this and whatnot.
Not to draw attention to
Right,
yourself.
right,
Because,
right.
yeah,
Because I'm already a standout. I'm already a black person at a white
it's
school.
just what happens. Yeah.
Exactly. So just, I think coming from um, that stage of my life to where I am now has been tremendous, a tremendous journey, um, a long one. I think it takes a lot of patience to kind of flip that switch
For
and flip
sure.
that mindset into, um, like, no, I'm not, my hair is not an issue. My hair is not complicated.
Yeah.
It's my hair. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? My skin is not too dark. It's rich. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Period.
It's rich. Don't do
I love
it.
that. It's not
And
too dark. It's rich. Yes,
right, and
ma'am.
it's just kind of being able to look at myself and look back on how far I've come.
Hmm.
Like I'm very proud of myself. It's not easy. Um, it's stages. I think it was a slow something that you said kind of happened subconsciously
Like a
and
slow burn.
right,
Hmm.
just like slow. It's like something you kind of feel, but you don't really know
Right.
you're feeling it until you kind of are able to take a step back and reflect. And it's
Definitely.
just like I've came some way. I'm so much more confident now. Um, so much more spoken. Like I speak up more about how
Hmm.
I'm feeling, how if something doesn't sit right with me, if I want something to be done. And yeah, it's just kind of that self love has grown a lot, and I'm proud of it. I'm
Yeah.
thankful for the journey. I'm thankful for my past.
For
You learn
sure.
from it, and grow from it. And so just knowing how that felt and knowing the position that I'm in now and the connections that I have made and resources that I have. So that's why I feel like I'm my responsibility. I'm part responsible for um, making sure that young girls don't feel like that
There it
anymore
is.
and don't have to take such a long process that I
Right.
went through.
Let's expedite their process a little
Right,
bit.
a little
Love
bit because
yourself,
it's like
queen.
right because it's you are beautiful from age 5 to age 20. You know, all throughout your life. It's just a process. It's a
Yeah.
process. I
Like
think
everything.
right, like everything, and it's just
For
something
sure.
that I had to learn, and now I'm in a position to look back on it, reflect,
Hmm.
and figure out how I can help others through that. So yeah, it's been a journey,
Yeah.
but
That's beautiful. So that self love piece, I definitely feel that because I am not the same Jordan that I was as a freshman. Just I look at myself as I'm a person before
mhm,
anything else. I'm a black
yeah,
woman, and I mean, I I was in predominantly white schools my entire life.
mhm,
One of my like most I guess memorable experiences, I went to an Ivy League preparatory school in Riverdale, which is one of the
mm,
richest spaces
mhm,
in New York City. And those comments, right? Like, and it just you start to hold yourself under a microscope just
yes,
because other people are doing it, and you internalize all those things when in reality you get into the spaces where you see people who look like you, and again the importance of visuals.
right,
You're like, wait, this is normal, right? Like this is I'm not just some other, in like I'm a part of a collective. There are people like me who have these differences, but when you're in kind of like that little fish tank,
mhm,
it just seems like you're the only one, and that
mhm,
builds into feeling alone and having just like anxiety about how you look, being self-conscious, and all of that is just it becomes embedded in your psyche, and
mhm,
all of a sudden your relationship is ruptured, not because of anything you've done intentionally, but just what you've heard, what you've
right,
seen, how people have made you feel.
right,
But that, and I like to say, now it's like a you problem. That's my whole thing. Whenever um, I start to question, myself, my physical appearance, how I make other people feel. Obviously, there's some of that because you don't want to just go around doing and saying whatever. You don't want to step on any toes. Nothing
right,
like that. Not to be
right,
rude or inconsiderate in any way. But I've gotten to a point as a senior in college. I'm like, that's you. That has nothing to do with me. How you feel about me based on what I'm wearing, how I'm speaking, it's a you problem.
yes, Jordan, that
So
is a you problem, right?
yeah,
That's what you gotta learn.
I definitely feel that. So
That's a good point too when you
yeah.
said like how you said you had to shift into realizing that you were a person before anything, you were a black woman before anything else.
Hmm.
I think that's something else I realized. Like people would ask me, like, talk about yourself, and I'd be like, I'm a soccer player. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, that is the
I'm a
first thing that
I'm
comes out of
a
your mouth.
student
Yes.
athlete at Texas A&M on the soccer team, and it's like, yes, but
That's what you do.
that's what I do. That's
That's
not
what you
who I
do.
am. You know what I'm saying?
There
That's
it
not who
is.
I
Yeah.
am. That's what I do. And it's like that anxiety that you said and that stress that comes with it. Like when you get into that new atmosphere, for example, like freshman year, you don't know, like you never think, you don't know, I don't know, I'm going to meet a Jordan with like minded goals and thoughts and dreams as me later
Yeah.
on, sophomore, junior year. I don't think I'm going to meet like Anisha to
Right.
impact me and show me that strength of being a black woman and
Right.
what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? You don't realize like how who you're gonna meet further
Who
down
you're
the
gonna
line,
encounter?
right?
Yeah.
Who's gonna cross your path? Like all the people I met through Blueprint, Chase, and Jonathan, KC, everybody, Gene. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I don't, like you said, it's just like being able to. Now that we're talking about it, being able to look back on that, it's just, it's beautiful
It
and
is.
it's pretty. It's like I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
love it. I love it.
It's incredible.
It is.
Truly. Like
It
I
is.
just to kind of wrap that up, like I came into college and I always felt like I was weird. And growing up and being in predominantly white schools, I felt like I was too black for the white kids and too
Too
white
white
for
for
the
the
black
black
kids.
kids.
So I'm
Yep.
like,
See.
I'm a tweener.
Right.
And lucky for me, I transferred after my sophomore year of high school into a school where I saw some people who looked like me. Like I had a friend group for the first time in
Mhm.
my secondary school experience, or just my school experience at that point. But it wasn't until I came to college where I met like-minded people, and I'm like,
Yes.
oh my gosh,
And it just opens you up.
what
It's kind
is
of it's like
this?
refreshing.
Yes, where have y'all been?
Where have
Why
y'all
have we,
been?
like, I went all the way to South Bend, Indiana to meet a boy from Jersey City, which is probably like 30 minutes from my house. And we're best, like, he's one of my best friends.
Mhm.
And, like, he resonates, or the things that he feels and thinks and how we see the world is just so similar, but so different at the same
Right.
time. But we're like minded people.
Right.
Meeting some of the people on my team, like Reagan,
Reagan.
Chase, like,
Right.
it's been incredible. Nisha, we gotta shout out Nisha.
Nisha.
Nisha, if you're tapping
Nisha's been
in,
name dropped like
we
five
miss you,
times.
child. But this conversation has been amazing. So we're just gonna wrap it up. Oh, actually, no. One thing, if you had to choose one thing from your experience, from your life experience, one mistake you've made that you don't want other people to make. And we kind of touched on it, just talking about the self-love piece and everything. But if you just had to sum it up into one thing, what would that thing be?
One mistake I've made. Um, yeah, I would say like how you said, kind of let people form their own opinions about you.
Okay.
Like don't try and anticipate it. Don't
Mm-hmm.
try to I don't know, like change yourself to make sure that they feel like that. I think
Right.
one thing that has like allowed me to be better at that was like me changing like my style.
Mm-hmm.
Like I when I'm getting dressed, like I'm trying to dress to be comfortable. Even when I'm going out or in public, have to dress up. Like I'm comfortable with my word, and it's just wear what you feel, wear what makes you feel good, and then whatever happens after that, that's on them. Like you
Right.
said, that's on them.
It's a you problem.
That's a you
It's
problem.
a you
Because
problem.
what's that got to do with me? Right.
Exactly.
And so I think having that mindset has
Mm-hmm.
kind of allowed me to grow into the shoes that I need to fill and like be that strong-minded woman, be that woman that speaks up. Because at the end of the day, it's like yeah, I'm my own person. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I'm my own person, so I'm gonna be my own person to the best of my ability.
There it is. Be you.
I'm gonna be me.
Be you. We're
It's
not
the easiest thing
complaining.
to do.
We're not
The easiest
complaining.
thing to do.
So we're just gonna finish up with a little this or that, right? It's
All right,
five
all
quick
right, all right.
questions. All right. So this can make or break our friendship. So I need you to answer correctly. Pancakes or French toast?
Ooh. Make or break the friendship. Hold
I'm just
on.
playing, child. I love breakfast food.
Pancake, me too.
I
Okay,
still love
I
you.
like waffles, pancakes, French toast,
Waffles are the best.
waffles,
Waffles are the best.
then French toast. I think waffles, French toast,
See, look,
pancakes.
I knew it was here, so I
Okay,
put it
good.
on the table. The
Okay,
ultimate,
good.
not even worry. Favorite restaurant in College Station?
Oh, I like. Where do I go? I like Remnant of Nolans.
Yes,
They're
it
good.
bus.
Go get it. Black owned. Black
Remnants in
owned.
Orleans, right? It's in Bryan. It's in Bryan.
Right. What else? I like Asian food a lot too.
Same.
So, where do I get Asian food from? I'll go to
Ushi.
Aji.
What is it like? Ushi? How you pronounce it?
Oishi.
I say
What is
ushi, but it's not
Right.
ushi. I
It's
know.
okay. I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant.
By HEB.
Yep.
Salty or sweet?
Ooh, sweet.
Sweet, for sure.
I like chocolate.
You like chocolate?
I like chocolate, but I can't do like too sweet. But
Yeah.
sweet.
Sweet, for
Sweet.
sure. Okay. Dressed up or dressed down?
Dress down.
Dressed
you know
down.
me.
Comfy
You
always.
know me.
And that's when I told you, just kind of like the dress code or like what, you're expected to wear. Comfortable. Be
You know
comfortable.
me.
That's when the best conversations are had.
We can dress up, but majority of the time,
The best part about getting dressed up is taking off clothes later
yes.
and putting on sweats. It's the best part. I stand by it.
That's so true.
Yeah. So last question, your preferred pregame meal.
Ooh, I always eat oatmeal before
Always.
every game.
Really?
I
What kind of oatmeal?
Like the Quaker Oats.
Is it like apple cinnamon?
apple
like,
cinnamon, or brown sugar. Usually I
Okay.
switch it up. Usually I do brown sugar.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I switch it up to apple cinnamon if we low on the brown sugar. But brown sugar, brown sugar is my go-to.
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know. I just like oatmeal and salmon.
Oatmeal and salmon. Okay. Salmon bust. I don't eat
Salmon.
salmon anymore, but I miss it, child.
Salmon. Why don't you eat salmon no more?
I'm a vegetarian.
Ah,
I've been a
good
vegetarian for a little
you.
while now,
Okay.
but I be smelling that little salmon. Smelling a little salmon.
Salmon goes crazy.
It does. It truly does. But Carlina, thank you so much for your time. I've truly enjoyed this. I was
Aw.
having a little bit of a week, so
This was fun.
this was great.
This was
This
fun.
was
It was
genuinely
needed.
amazing.
It was.
But thank you again.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yes. All right.
J Nix.
All done.